So you've got this brilliant idea, right? A story, a brand mascot, maybe an educational series, but there's always been this giant wall between that idea in your head and a professional, polished visual on the screen. It's a wall made of time, money, and some seriously specialized skills. A wall that has stopped so many creators. But what if that wall is finally actually coming down? Let's break down how this is all happening right now.
Just look at this breakdown. This lays out the classic dilemma perfectly. On one side, you have the traditional path. You hire an illustrator. I mean, we are talking days, maybe even weeks, just to see the very first concept of your character. And the cost? Yeah, that easily starts at $5,000 and goes up. You want changes? Get ready to wait and get ready to pay more. But now look at the AI column. 60 seconds to a first draft. Cost can be totally free. And iterations, they happen instantly. This isn't just a small improvement. No, this is a whole new ballgame.
And that $5,000, that's just to get in the door. If you want a fully professionally illustrated book, $10,000 is a very real, very common price tag. That single number has been the gatekeeper for countless stories that just never got told. It's the barrier to entry we all kind of just accepted until now. Okay, so with these new tools, who's actually managing to break through? Let's look at a real-world example, because it shows exactly what happens when you completely change the visual language of an entire industry.
I want you to meet Sketchin' Ants. They decided to jump into one of the most crowded, noisiest niches on all of YouTube, finance. You know the space, it's just full of talking heads and really serious-looking charts. Their whole approach wasn't to find some new topic, but to find a completely new way to talk about the same old topics using animation that was actually engaging and fun to watch.
So did it work? You bet it did. In just 2 months, they pulled in over 1.2 million views. Their fourth video went viral, and then another one hit almost 800,000 views in just 3 weeks. Yeah, this wasn't some slow and steady thing. It was an absolute explosion. And it just goes to prove that how you tell a story can be way more powerful than what the story is even about.
And that right there, that's the secret sauce. It's a crossover. They took the serious, kind of boring world of finance and mashed it up with the fun, accessible style of animation. The information itself wasn't new, but the delivery, it was a game changer. It created this powerful new cocktail that was just impossible to ignore. And here's the most important part. Their success is based on a system that you can use too.
Right. This isn't about getting lucky. It's about having a system. So we're going to break down the exact, repeatable process for turning your ideas into visuals that look like they were made by a pro. And it all starts with the foundation of everything, the prompt.
Over on the left is where pretty much everyone starts, and honestly, where most people stop. A simple 2-word prompt like 3D robot. And yeah, you'll get an image, for sure, but it's going to be generic. It's not going to have a story or a specific style. To get professional results, you have to start thinking like a director, not just a user. Now, look at this. This is a pro-level prompt. It doesn't just say what to create, it sets a whole scene. It specifies the action, mapping out a product strategy, it gives us the time of day, early morning, and it calls for a very specific visual style, playful claymorphic design, which is this really cool 3D style that looks like it's made out of soft clay. See the difference? You're not just a user anymore, you're the director. You know, it's a simple rule, but it's everything. The quality of what you put in directly dictates the quality of what you get out. A really well-crafted prompt is your blueprint. It gives the AI the structure it needs to build something that isn't just a random image, but a piece of a bigger story. Okay, so you've mastered the art of the perfect prompt. You create an amazing character for page 1 of your story, but then you get to page 2, and everything just falls apart. What's the absolute biggest hurdle you're about to run into?
It's this monster right here, character drift. It's that super frustrating thing that happens when your perfect character suddenly has different hair, or a new face shape, or a slightly different outfit in the very next picture. It completely shatters the illusion of your story, and it's the #1 thing that separates amateur AI work from the pros.
And here's why it happens. It's actually pretty simple. Most AI models basically have the memory of a goldfish. They have no memory from one generation to the next. Every single time you hit that generate button, it is starting completely from scratch. It doesn't remember that character I made a minute ago. It's just following the prompt all over again, with all the randomness that comes with it. But there is a solution. And the solution is called the anchor image workflow. It's a really simple 3-step system. First, you define your character's DNA, all the core details that should never, ever change. Then, you generate one single perfect reference image. That's your anchor. Finally, you use that anchor image as a direct visual guide for every new scene you create. You're basically telling the AI, hey, make this character again, just, in a new pose.
All right, so with the anchor workflow, we have officially solved character drift. We've got our hero, and they look exactly the same across 20 different scenes. So what's the final step? Well, let's make a move.
This used to be another one of those massive barriers that required complex software and years of specialized skills. Now, it's as simple as making the image in the first place. You just upload your consistent character image, describe the action you want in plain English, like natural movement, and the AI just spits out a short animated video clip. And just like that, the entire creative pipeline, from a random thought in your head to a moving character on screen, is open to pretty much anyone.
So, now that we have this complete system down, let's take a look at how it's being used out there in the real world. Because this isn't just for YouTube videos or children's books anymore. It's fundamentally changing how big brands and companies create all of their visuals.
We're seeing this workflow pop up everywhere. People are using it to create friendly app mascots that guide you through onboarding, to design entire casts of game characters, even to build educational companions for learning apps. Heck, even really complex B2B marketing and fintech companies are using these visuals to make their products feel more human and engaging. Now, what's so interesting about this slide is how it connects these cool visuals to actual business strategy. What this quote is really getting at is that successful modern companies win by creating a better user experience. They often do that by solving problems users didn't even know they had. And engaging, friendly, and consistent visual characters, they are a huge part of that. They make these complex digital products feel way more intuitive and personal.
So where does this all leave us? We've looked at the problem, we've seen the game-changing examples, and we've walked through the step-by-step system to do it yourself. This isn't just about a new tool. It's really the beginning of a whole new creative economy.
Think about it. For decades, the ability to create high-quality animation and illustration has been locked away in the hands of a few people with massive resources and incredible skills. But now, that power is being distributed to everyone. So the real question, the final question, is this. If anyone can be an animator, if anyone can bring their own unique characters to life, what stories from what new voices are we finally going to see?